Hey everybody, Corey from Aquariumcoop. Today, working in the fish room again. Started out by getting ready to shoot a video and cut my thumb wicked bad. I'm waiting for it to stop, or for the super glue to be set. I'm working on a lighting video, which you'll see in a different video. We're gonna work on cleaning up a bunch of tanks and everything. Right now I'm just gonna feed Elmer, because you guys haven't seen him in a while. All right, so here's what this tank looks like. There's Elmer. Cleaned up all the tops. So there's actually been a whole day Dean and I worked in here. We didn't film at all. We just had so much to get done, like cleaning the algae from tops because we were missing the shimmer effect. And so yeah, we're just gonna feed Elmer some wafers here if I can do it one-handed. Don't you hate that? Oh. And then I don't know if we showed that on camera yet, but we moved all of these guys to live in here as well, wild from Peru. So let's put in some wafers in. I already put some krill flake from Extreme in there. Takes him a minute. He hates the camera. Go on, little dude. Snarf it up. Sometimes you watch him use his front fins, his flippers, to break it apart if it's bigger food. You want to say hi, Elmer? You couldn't be cuter. Chomp. All right, well, we'll let him do his thing. I deployed more goldfish, so we got some shabunkins. They're in here eating some flake right now, and the water's all turbid and not looking great, but they ate all the duckweed. This tank no longer has duckweed. All the toads are gonna come out long term, but I'm trying to kind of clean them up and get them going and all of that. And it's gonna take time, right? Like all of these coming out might take another 3 or 4 months, but we wanna get that 125 in over there, this row out, want to start working with some stuff. In fact, that tank is getting set up today. That's what I'll be showing you in this video. So I've got gravels, escaping rocks, CO2 regulator we want to set up there, Fluval light to do a comparison video with ours. This is the custom aquarium tank. That stone lived over there in that tank right there. I'm going to set this up as a pearl weed garden, which I've done in the past when it's pearling and looks great. And so this is all pearl weed here. And the light I've got turned down. This is the Aquariumcoop light. I had it turned down so it didn't turn green again. If you guys remember, it was green because I had it full power. These plants are hanging on, but I wanted to show you this so you can remember this when we put, the highlight and CO2 to it and it gets really big and beautiful. But then also don't forget we're growing the same plant over here. So you can see here, it's closer to the light because it's the top. This is just a few sprigs that have been letting flow. Like you could take this and do this. Over time, you end up with this. This is like 9 months, right? Took a long time because there's not a lot of light. See a little bit of immersed growth right there. You see that different leaf structure? This is the thing I cut myself on. It had broke and I was drilling this and it caught and spun this around and just sliced my thumb right open. So I've got the Aquariumcoop test strips and I'm gonna give it a quick test here. And so if I need to add some substrate, I wanna know, should I add some crushed coral? Should I add some more normal? So what I'm seeing here is we have a pH of about 7.2, and then our buffer is 40. So this tank's never had anything in it yet. The KH I can buffer up by putting in some crushed coral. Now what I'd love to see is a tank with a full load. Really part of it is learning your water and seeing, like, this is gonna be the highest load I have because there's probably 50 plecos in there. 1, 2, 3. This is where I find people make the mistake. They're not testing their water, because I made the assumption that it was good based on testing before I bought the house. And then I tested it when we were setting tanks up and it was good also. And then in practice, that's where I started running some problems. Kind of put these side by side, they're the same. So brand new tank versus crazy loaded tank, running the same, the water changes are doing enough. I'm still gonna add a little bit of crushed coral because at worst case it does nothing, at best case it'll help me, and then we'll start planting, which it's gonna cloud up the tank, so that's gonna suck, but I want the long-term effect. So to do crushed coral the way I do it, either I use a net, depends on how fine your crushed coral is, or today I'm gonna use this floating guppy tray that we made in a previous video way back in the day, and it's a paint strainer, so I can just dump all of the crushed coral in there. We kind of recommend 1 pound per 10 gallons of water mixed in the gravel. Kinda can't have too much, it all depends on water changes and stuff too, so. Now this is my favorite part, this sprayer. It's gonna make cleaning this a lot easier. You can also just use a normal sink too. If you just have a normal sink, you kind of just keep running it So if I go and I just dump this into that aquarium, all the fine particulate matter is going to fall off in the water. Our Aquariumcoop specimen container that's unbreakable and amazing and the best ever. I realized someone else recommended to another photographer, they said, we have the clearest one. And I thought that was awesome because we do have the clearest one. We paid more money to go ultra clear and make it indestructible. So now the goal is going to be to let this fill with water and slowly lower it down. So you see that coming out? That's what we want to avoid. And so if we can get it down to the bottom and kind of just slowly let it out through the middle. Yeah, the water's clouded a little bit, but if we didn't do that, it would be really clouded. All right, planting this is quite difficult. My opinion is to just plant the pot. I know you guys see me do this a lot, but the roots are tiny. We need to make sure that we're gonna have enough depth in the gravel because I don't want to see the pot very much. Nope, we need a little bit more. Now this gravel's already been washed, so it's not too bad. And then you can get in here and just kind of move the substrate a bit. And we want to check the depth again. I know it doesn't look very cool right now, and if I fail, it's not going to look cool ever. It's the only thing I hate about tall tanks. The armpit gets wet. All right, let's set up a CO2 regulator, shall we? I recommend the Aquariumcoop regulator because guess what? I think it's the best. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made it. You get this bad boy for 120 bucks. You get your instruction booklet, you get extra O-rings, you get your solenoid, you get everything you need to run one CO2 to a tank. Well, not everything, because I guess you have to buy the CO2 tank, which you have to go buy that at like a welding supply place. We're gonna plug it in. This will control CO2 going on and off. We're gonna plug that into the same thing we got the light going on, right? And then we just have to connect this little dealy bob right here to this dealy bob. And so you can hand thread that at the beginning. You'll notice it's looking up at me. That's because I gotta tighten it down. And I only have access to the world's largest crescent wrench because that's what I use to adjust the 800 gallons legs. And this happened to be handy. Let's see if I can make it work. So I try to hold the regulator and tighten this nut down. Let's see, you see what happens? I'm bleeding all over my regulator now. Hold on, I gotta do another super glue repair job because it ripped off in the middle of it. So, not a good problem. Well, good thing it's stainless steel, right? You never know, like, when do we need stainless steel if you're bleeding from another project in the fish room? Let me take care of that, I'll be back. So what I do find hilarious is everything I'm gonna do to clean this up is Aquariumcoop. I'm gonna use my Aquariumcoop towel because it's black and it won't show the blood. So I can clean up my own wound here and clean up, oh no, is it stained? Aquariumcoop super glue gel. And I believe, not that I'm an expert, but super glue in general was made to seal like war wounds or something. Use spit, spit's fixing it. All right, we fix it with spit. It also helps if you don't have the world's largest comical cartoon wrench. Now we'll see if it leaks. No leaks. Pressure knob, you'll watch this. So this is how much pressure is in the tank. This is how much pressure is we're gonna allow to go through this eventually. And if I tighten this, as you tighten it, it adds more pressure to the second dial. So, see, now it'd be 50 PSI. Usually you don't want too much more than 40 or 50 PSI. I mean, there's some diffusers out there. And basically what that means, in case you don't know, is this CO2 diffuser. Now it takes a lot of pressure to get the CO2 through there. I've actually stumbled upon what I think is going to be a hack. I'm going to try and do it with a Ziff's Airstone because we know they use the same green felt in their diffuser they make that we don't carry. Can I use this as the diffuser? If I really crank this thing way down, if that will be the CO2 diffuser I want. I got to hook up the solenoid. I got to fill this little bad boy up with water. That's gonna show us the bubbles that go through, how many per second. So that gives a little bit of a visual. You kind of only need to do that once. All right, so I got the CO2 up and running. It's not optimal, so we're gonna optimize it. But right down here, you can see we've got the pressure gauge There's no light down here, but the bubbles are going. Let's see if I can make that better. And we do have CO2 coming out of the air stone, but it's not optimal. We're gonna swap it out. The bubbles are too big. You can see some of the bubbles are the right size, but then some of them are too big. And those big bubbles are hitting the surface. You want all these tiny bubbles, not those big ones. So I might play with that a little bit, but if not, we're just gonna go with the tried and true CO2 diffuser. And while we wait for the line to pressurize, we're gonna feed Ladybird. Give her some clams. Listen to those crunches. I did add the one goldfish in, as you can see, and he's pooping green because he's really working on that duckweed, doing a good job actually. So I'm hoping a couple more weeks he'll be done with it. Then we can get back to cleaning this bad boy up. Give her some more clams. We already fed the rest of the fish some flake and stuff today. Clam hat. What else we got going on while we're waiting? Prototypes are here, the last round. These are all the things that got super delayed, but you know, here's the 4-footer. Move these clams. 4-footer box. So we'll proof this, and we're already in production, but just making sure they didn't, you know, there's things that we'll fix long term, like trying to make all these different boxes like, oh, we've got extra room, we could make this light go all the way. So stuff like that, but when you get it to a shorter box, like let's say the 12-inch one, so yeah, the 12-inch, we end up having to scale all of these things. So you can see different placements and stuff like that, and then you start getting to 24-inch. How'd that end up? So yeah, that's much closer to the end. We're new at this. We're not the best product package designers, as you guys already know. Like, we just throw green on it and make a good product and hope it sells. The 20-inch for your 10-gallon tanks. Then we've got the 30-inch. So yeah, we just tried to use roughly the same pattern, optimized for, when we designed these originally, they weren't gonna be in other retail stores besides our own, so we didn't worry that much about the product packaging. 36-inch. So the only one that's we're not doing yet is the 16-inch. That'll be in the next print run. This is already, to get these launching in all these sizes is like 200 grand for us or something. We just ran out of money. Simply put, out of money. This might be out by the time you watch this, or if not, you can sign up for a text message the minute they come into stock. It's been a minute. What else can I show you? These are some test air pumps. These are going into production. They're in production right now. So these guys, this is, you're gonna go, that looks just like your old air pump. Yes, new manufacturer, more options. So first, people will be happy to hear, Type C. The other thing is we now have a dual outlet one, 2, and a single. If you haven't seen these before, they're battery operated. So this runs on a battery. Also has a power saver mode. So now it goes on 15 seconds, off 15 seconds in case of a power outage. That automatically happens even if you're not home. It will continue running. It won't put itself into power saver mode, but it will, if the power goes out, just keep running. 2 outlets. This one runs 1 outlet. Now you saw that one blue dot. What does that mean, Corey? That means they're adjustable. So I have a lowest power, a little bit quieter, a little bit high, you know, a little more power, a little bit more power, a little bit more power. And you can do the same with these ones. So we wanted to make them adjustable so you could choose how much air and how loud. So yeah, got it better. So Switch manufacturers made them even better. Those, I know people are like, when? We're thinking like February. They're in production right now. There's rioting in China. There's all kinds of stuff preventing this from happening. They were during COVID lockdown. And I realize it's been going on for years, but that's what's happened to business. So, all right, so now you can see the fine stream, that real fine stream. And you see this mist. You see that mist? That's what you want. Now, we might even be putting too much CO2 in, so like tomorrow I have to look, and really my goal, and this is I think everyone's goal, is to get the plants growing the best they can. And so I want to talk about that because I feel like people just, they don't really know what they're doing. Not that I do, I've just done it a little more than some people. Where I judge my plants, are they growing well and are they pearling? They release oxygen and it looks cool. That's what this tank is gonna do. The one thing I wanna show you, and I haven't cleaned out any of these leaves yet because I wanna use this as a teaching tool. You see how they're moving? You see how there's a current in this tank? Very, 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 very important in a planted tank. People focus so much about not agitating the surface because they want to protect all their CO2s. By doing that, they don't get good flow. Why do we need good flow, Corey? Well, you see all these little CO2 bubbles in this cloud over here? We need all of that to get down in here and come through all of the plants, all the way even over here, so it will get CO2. This is just a good example with these cuttings, basically, showing you the flow, that it is moving. And this is exactly how everything else moves in an aquarium. So your heater, right? Your fertilizers. So the fertilizer, if I pump it in over here, we need it to get to this plant. We need it to, right? Medications, same thing. Flow is crazy important in your aquarium. So yeah, even though I'm using a sponge filter, I stuck it in the corner, so we got this flow, right? It's doing this. Now, when we look down here, it's not that much, but we might be able to turn it down a little bit. And I want to use the least amount of CO2 possible to get the effect I want. I want to cover it because everyone's always going to make a comment. You're gassing off the CO2. Yes, I 100% am gassing off some CO2. People need to realize is, let's say I lose 1 part per million CO2 per hour doing this. And this is pumping in 30. So now I'm down to 29. The plants only needed 10. So I have way more than I'm ever going to need anyway. Yes, am I going to have to replace this 1 day sooner, 2 days sooner, maybe? Yeah, but I only have to replace it like once every 1.5 to 2 years anyway. Doesn't matter. Yeah, this video, I won't end it today. I'll probably end it tomorrow, and maybe I'll put fish in, and maybe the CO2 will be going, so you guys will get to see that. And then we'll chime in a few weeks, you know, like a month, and either A, I've killed it all, or B, it looks amazing. I was gonna work on the other tank today, but I keep like catching the super glue on stuff, and I'm afraid it's gonna rip off again. I don't wanna make a video that like, oh my God, nearly died, you gotta watch, click the thumbnail, blood everywhere. Instead, I wanna nerd out and show you like, look, duckweed and poop. Brief update on the crypt tank. But you can see here, you see less of the pots. Now, I'm not saying you don't see the pots, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you see less of them. They're growing in. What you do, what I'm trying to hopefully show you is that, look at all of these crypts we planted. None of them have died and melted back horribly. Instead, they're filling out and making new leaves. Pretty soon, you're not gonna see like that. That's a good example right there. You don't even see that it's still in a pot. You have to come way down and go, oh yeah, it still is in a pot. Or from the top, you just start seeing like, hey, that's starting to look pretty good. We tend to get caught up in, I need to set up more tanks, do more things. But the reality is, if I can enjoy this tank for 2 years, that's an amazing feat. You know, a lot of people like a faster timeline. I like the slow timeline. I like to watch, watch that house being built, let it grow out, let it do its thing. I like to buy plants early and just let them sit. These job ferns just sitting. What am I doing with them? Nothing right now, doing nothing. All right, being this is a brand new tank, I'm just gonna put like 10 pumps straight into it, because it's gonna need food quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now look, can you see the easy green mixing? When it looks like that salt or the heat, you know, like on pavement, that's the look of the chemicals mixing in your tank. Crazy important that that gets delivered to all the plants. And so right now it's kind of marinating and dissolving. You know, let me know if you're still watching at this point. Leave a comment and a like. Let me know, is this the kind of content you want to see? I feel like there's too many people, myself included, making just like top 10 videos, and people watch them, I get it. I think we're growing to a point where you guys either want to watch us do stuff or you don't. But I really want to just hang out and do real aquariums and not let's get it perfect for, you know, YouTube, like I shouldn't have been bleeding. I shouldn't have shown you guys trying to save money. You know, I was trying to save you money with that airstone hack. Didn't quite work. I hope that you guys know that this is what your tank looks like when you spend, you know, there's a custom aquarium, ultra high clarity glass, which is awesome, and you worked on it, so now it looks like crap. And this is what planted tanks look like, by the way. So even if it's all filled in and I trim, it's still another day before you can even take any pictures and show it off, because you're gonna have that effect for a day or two while you're clearing it up and making it look good. All right, I'm gonna let this be. We'll come back tomorrow. Time is on our side.
One taco later. Hard shell only. Bite by the side.
All right, so it's the next day. Light's been on for like an hour. I just turned the water change on because it hadn't filled up yet today and I wanted to film, and that kind of made the water a little more murky again. So it defeated my whole plan. And you can track bubbles per second on your diffuser as well a lot of times. So a lot of people say you have to have a bubble counter. You don't. We can count the bubbles, how many per second are going through there right now, just like we could in the bubble counter down there. You see that bubble right there? I know it's grainy. So that's what it's gonna do. When it starts reaching saturation, you'll see that lots of those bubbles are gonna lift off. So the plant is photosynthesizing, taking in the CO2 and the fertilizer, and then it gives off oxygen. And when there's so much oxygen in the water, it does that. There goes another one right there. You see that bubble going up? And there goes another big one. And so what I wanna, you know, I just really wanna show you guys, and I know I'm a broken record here, but look at all that. Look at all that. You can't be doing CO2 and making a pearl and doing things with that. And then yet here we are doing it. Like I've always done it for the past like 20 years now. My goal is that I'll come back from vacation. It'll be a couple weeks. This will be grown in more, and then we'll add some fish. Now you go, Corey, why don't you add the fish right now? And it's because I don't want them digging it up, and I want this to get a good established base to it. I also don't want to add another tank for people to have to feed while I'm gone. One more thing, so leave them centralized. So the full meal deal is like, Corey, why aren't you working more and doing more of these things and making the better video today? Well, it's because it's snowing outside, and I love snow more than about anything, except for my family. But yeah, it's snowing, which means I gotta get stuff ready because we leave in like less than 48 hours from now. So just making sure that the house sitters are gonna know what to do in case power goes out, and you know how they feed the fish. And I might move a couple goldfish around, eat some duckweed. Won't even clean up my mess today. You guys probably don't see the vision yet, and if you haven't done a tank like this, I get it. You're just going, yeah, okay, seen it. I do think when you chime back in with it though, in a month or two, you're gonna go, wow, that turned out pretty good. What you're gonna see is tons of purling, and that's really the effect I wanna show you guys, because one, it'll make my regulator look good. Two, it'll make Easy Green look good. Three, you guys will go, hey, turns out Corey can do a thing every once in a while. He's not just full of it all the time. Gonna catch a goldfish? Right there. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll start tackling green water and doing stuff. All right, confession time. I know the video ended, but it's back. This is what makes filming what you're doing harder. It's not that it's crazy hard, you just forget things. You're trying to keep the video moving. So remember yesterday when we're showing off the lights and we fed Ladybird and we fed her frozen clams, right? What did Corey do with the clams? He talked for like a long time and worked on stuff. Oh no, I basically wasted $30 in clams. Can't feed these, they're no good anymore. And now I have this mess of gotta get to the garbage without making a giant mess. Let's see if I can make the clam juice not terrible. Don't leak everywhere. All right, outside we go with way too many clams I've wasted. Dang it, it just makes everything a little bit harder. It's not impossible, it's just like, dang it, that sucks. It sucks to be wasted food. I don't like to waste food, and so into the garbage it goes. At least it's gonna be frozen by the time it's time to take it out, so that'll be good.
We hope you enjoyed this video. To watch another one just like this, click here.